Welcome to DeChamp's Ransom Reviews. I'm Mark DeChamp Deschamps, and today we're talking about that third Avengers Doomsday teaser trailer that just got dropped by Marvel. Uh, Pretty big deal. So, if you've been following, we've now gotten two previous teaser trailers for this thing. The first thing showing us our first look back at Chris Evans, who will be returning as Captain America. The second one gave us a look at Thor. This one, a little more exciting. A lot more to talk about. This one specifically features three characters from Fox's X-Men movie franchise. We have Professor Charles Xavier, we have Eric Lenscher, aka Magneto, and we have Scott Summers, Cyclops, all reprising their roles. Kind of interesting, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm a big X-Men fan, been a big X-Men fan for a long time, and I'm interested to see what the heck is gonna happen with the X-Men and the MCU. We're going back to the Fox well. We have Sir Ian McKellen returning as Magneto. We have James Marsden as Cyclops, and we have Patrick Stewart back as Professor Xavier once again. So if you've seen the teaser trailer, very short, just like the last couple, just a little over a minute long, and basically we're looking at what appears to be the ruins of the Xavier Institute, and once again we have Xavier and Magneto playing chess, which has been like a constant for the Fox X-Men movies. We saw it in the first in the 2000 X-Men movie. It was like a big thing between the two of them. We saw it several times over the years. Basically, anytime Xavier and Magneto were on screen together, they were playing chess at some point. Um, so we're back to that. Xavier's rocking, some kind of X-Men jacket. Magneto looking a little old there. Um, the coolest thing, though, is that Cyclops is very clearly rocking the Jim Lee designed 90s blue and gold uniform, popularized in the X-Men cartoon from the 90s. We really never got to see Scott in costume. At least not like the 90s look. Um, the Fox X-Men movies really heavily leaned on like the black leather look throughout, and it looks like the MCU's getting these characters into costume. We got to see Hugh Jackman rocking the gold and blue in Wolverine and Deadpool, or Deadpool and Wolverine, whatever the heck the name was. Um, and now we've got Cyclops in costume, which is really cool. We see him popping off the visor and just going crazy with the optic blast, which is such a cool visual. Cyclops is like the most underrated, probably superhero generally, if I'm being honest. For some reason, probably the cartoon, Scott's got kind of a bad rap as a boring character, but realistically speaking, Cyclops has always been one of the coolest X-Men. Like, top two X-Men, Cyclops and Wolverine. My humble opinion, but like, it doesn't get much better than those two. So, Fox really squandered the character. James Marsden, especially, who's great. I'm a big giant James Marsden fan. I always loved him in the Sonic movies. And, it looks like we're going to see him cut loose a little bit. Hopefully, this isn't like right before he dies. That wouldn't be surprising given what we've seen with the X-Men movies and such. But this trailer raises some big questions. We don't really know what's going to happen with the whole multiverse thing. Um, Fox's continuity has always been a total disaster when it comes to X-Men stuff. We had the first three X-Men movies that all kind of followed a pretty strict continuity. Then, things started to get messy with Days of Future Past, where we saw the timeline fixed. Cyclops died in X-Men 3, The Last Stand, And then after Days of Future Past, we saw that Scott was alive again, and so was Jean, and the school was all back, and everybody was back, which was really really cool. And then that ending gets squandered by Logan, which basically posited that Xavier had killed all of the X Men. Um, and then we saw Xavier die in that movie. Then we saw Wolverine die in that movie. We know that Deadpool and Wolverine brought another version of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine from a different reality, uh, into the Fox X-Men universe. Um, but we don't know what the heck is the deal with these versions of, Cyclops and Xavier and Magneto. Do they come from that reality after Days of Future Past? Do they come from some other reality we haven't seen? How do they factor in with, Beast, who we saw at the end of the Marvels, where Monica Rambeau had been transported at the end of that movie? There's so many questions, and I'm really interested to see how they somehow find a way to make all of this work. The X-Men movies, there were some good ones from Fox. X2, Days of Future Past, Logan, The Wolverine. They're all really fun movies, but their continuity was just such a disaster. And at the end of Deadpool and Wolverine, it really kind of felt like they smoothed out Marvel and Disney specifically smoothed out as much as they could. Um, we kind of established that the Deadpool movies seem to take place after Logan. There were, I know, a lot of questions about that. Before Logan came out, we kind of had some theories that it was like in the far flung future. Um, but then it seems like that kind of got retconned. So I don't know, man. I hope that there's kind of some kind of plausible explanation. The MCU, for as messy as people like to act like it is, the continuity's been really tight between movies. We haven't had too many things that like are confusing. If you've seen everything, you generally know what's going on, right? Like there aren't a huge number of plot holes or mistakes. And even when there are, the directors do a nice job of going back to the well and kind of fixing them after the fact. So I don't know what the heck they're going to do with the X-Men. But man, this trailer was awesome. Like as an X-Men fan, for a long time, the X-Men were my entry point to the Marvel universe, and they were for a lot of other people. So I'm excited about this. I thought it was a great trailer. I thought it was, the best of the Avengers Doomsday. I'm sorry, yeah, Avengers Doomsday trailers so far. I'm interested to see what else they got up their sleeves. Are we going to see the Fantastic Four? We know that they're going to be in the movie, but are we going to see like a teaser trailer with the Fantastic Four or Doctor Doom or I don't know, man. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I'd be interested to hear what you guys thought. Let me know in the comments. Tell me what you think. What's going to happen? How are they gonna make this all connect? You know, and what do you think's going to happen after? Like, is this going to be finally like the X-Men, Fox universe put to bed? Or are we going to actually see some of these actors come over? I really don't think they're done with Hugh Jackman. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that, I think he's going to stick around post, you know, Secret Wars and Doomsday. I think they'd be crazy not to. He's got great chemistry with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Like Jackman of any of the X-Men actors, I feel like Jackman's like the one you could keep around. Wolverine's supposed to be old. Kind of makes sense, even as Jackman's getting up there in age, still looks fantastic. But, even as Hugh is getting up there in age, I don't think you have to recast Wolverine personally. Um, But I'm really interested to see how they connect him in. Because even though it hasn't been like confirmed that, Reynolds and Jackman are going to be back for Doomsday or Secret Wars, it's going to happen. Like, Deadpool and Wolverine made all of the money at the box office. It was one of the biggest MCU success stories ever, especially for the last few years. Like, there's been some diminishing returns on how these films have done, but Deadpool and Wolverine made all of the money. There's no question that they're going to show up at some point. So I want to know how they're going to work in this Wolverine who comes from a world of dead X-Men with Scott and Charles again and Magneto, and we know of other ones. Like I said, we know Beast is going to be there. We know Nightcrawler's coming back. We have Kelsey Grammer, and man, so many questions. And with the movie not coming out till for almost another year, it's going to be a while before we have answers. But hopefully we keep getting more teasers. So like I said, let me know in the comments what you think is happening, what you thought of the trailer, and if you're new to the channel, I really hope that you subscribe. We talk about Marvel a lot. We broke down that first teaser with Captain America and his new child that's gonna be in this new movie. And I also reviewed Marvel Cosmic Invasion, a couple weeks ago. So, if you have been on the fence about whether or not you want to play that, go check out that video, and think about sticking around, because as the year goes on, we're gonna talk more about Marvel stuff. We're gonna talk more about Secret Wars. We've got a new Spider-Man movie coming out too. I can't wait for that one. So thank you so much. The channel is The Champs Rants and Reviews. You can also find me on Blue Sky at Mark MARCDA Champ on Blue Sky. That's like my social media home mostly. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.